And now I'm going to invite Rahul to come and close the session for us. And I know all of you have had a great 4 days and a heavy 4 days. Let that all soak in, and we'll close after Rahul says the word of thanks. Come.
I thought before we have a vote of thanks, we should perhaps talk for 5 minutes about what we should talk about. Any thoughts? What's stirring? Not just for next year's ASCCSA, but just generally. What should we be talking about? Yes, please. Anybody, we don't need the mic for this.
One thing I think that I attended last year and this year, one very important setting that is missing in this whole discussion is the school. I mean, it is touched somewhere, but school is also the place where lots of abuse is happening, and the tuitions. Lots of children are going for the private tutoring, and there is so much of abuse happening there. We have talked a lot about cases in home as well as the children's home, but school is not something that we have touched upon much. So I think next year we should think about that. And the thing is that there are, even though we are talking about child protection policies everywhere, we don't have child protection policies in the school where there are highest number of children at a given point. We have tried it in Bhavnagar. That is probably the only district in Gujarat. I don't know in other parts of the country. But because we had a good collector at that time and we are running a child helpline, so we could manage to get the child protection policy in place in all the schools across the district. And the child protection committees are being formed and we are training them and all that, but still it's not happening everywhere. So I think that is one thing that we need to talk about.
I agree with her, and some of the students that I've counseled.
Can you hear at the back?
Yes, some of the students that I've counseled have come up with these horror stories of this sexual abuse with their tuition teachers, and it's really horrifying. And they couldn't even complain to their parents because the parents would support the teacher. And it's a one-on-one situation where the child is kept in a room and the door is closed. And not only he abuses the child, he abuses the other sister also. Both.
How do we bring in a rural perspective of urban? Yes, we have got that.
Rural and the grassroots is missing.
And the whole protection systems are so inferior.
How do we reach out to the people in the rural areas? Suchi, how do we reach out to them? I mean, why don't we reach out to them? We don't have to have this in English. Makes no difference to me.
This needs to happen in Hindi.
Or Marathi. Excellent. Done. So next year we'll just do it in Hindi.
You can do it in another location. Yeah. East of Bombay. And we'll all go there.
जरूर. तो तय है अगले साल यहाँ पे नहीं एनसीबी वालों रिजॉइस हम यहाँ पे नहीं आ रहे हैं इसके बाद डन जी.
Another important aspect that when we consider children as one of the most important stakeholders in the process, we need to talk about, we are just talking about the children who are survivors, but we are not talking about the children who have been able to empower before this happened to them. Because we are working on that line. For example, we have trained each and every child in our children's collective who have been able to step up and prevent this. They are aware before that happens.
Should we have more of a focus on prevention next year? I flirted with this in the opening speech. Will you give us suggestions of who are the powerful people to call in who would talk about prevention? I mean, I'm sure we'd love that. I mean, I'm sure it's most of you, but if there are any others who can actually, do that. Children themselves. Children themselves. What do we think about that?
They are the expert users. There are kids who would love it. Very powerful.
Well, we leave it to you because this is obviously it's always going to remain a closed door session. So if you think there are kids who can actually do this, I mean, whoever has ethical problems, for and minus, we have 364 days to argue about this and to battle this back and forth, which I'm sure there'll be no shortage of in this room. Maybe next time we should have the conference when there's no Ganesh Visarjan. This might help us a little bit. It took me 2 hours and 15 minutes. Yes, you have something at the back. Obviously not about Ganpati, but I'm sure about issues a little less metaphysical.
That's another request to the foundation that increase the timing of the speakers because every speaker was saying, oh, time out.
Yes? Fewer sessions? Longer sessions? Anybody says no? Disagree? Disagree? Keep the sessions short, but have many more and have it. I mean, what it was fine for you. Okay, I mean, we'll see. More panels and less presentations. So then 3 days. Another day? Yeah, okay. Where are the people from Bajaj anyway? Are they here? Oh, there you are. Hi. Good. Now that you're here, at least I was speaking yesterday, and I have to say I know that nobody was there from Bajaj. So, were you there yesterday? No, and that's fine. I can repeat myself, and I will, because I started. I didn't even wait at the end to say, and we thank our sponsors. I just said that I call this a black hole of nothing publicity. I said this is a place where you really are. You're going to sell more of your products because you're here. So obviously, this is something that Meenal and Neeraj have responded to deeply, just from a very personal space, and I think that that's the way partnerships should be. Which is why I said that it's incredible that they're there, and we'll shamelessly go to them year after year. So please extend a huge thanks to them for just for doing it in a way that says nothing about corporate sponsorship. I mean, at one point, Meenal even told me you don't need to have our logo; it's okay. And so literally, so that's exactly the dream corporate partner people would like. Okay, so something about Bajaj, how they should handle their business? Oh, this. This should be residential. Then we'll have to have it in Thana or Raigad, and then we'll get caught, and the politicians will say we're land grabbing and all that stuff. Wow, that's I mean, look. What would be the best, when Suchi and I were thinking 8 years ago, when I said, what is it that you want to do? I said, surely one day we should be working away from a virtual shelter to a real shelter, where the dream is just, you walk in and there's legal, medical, educational, physical, material, psychological, or everything. It's just this one massive shelter of all kinds. But we haven't really we aren't even consciously moving there because there's so much else to do. In the 8 years, I can't think we've taken a single step working towards that. Otherwise, we would have made many steps towards that if we really wanted to.
Yeah, one last thing.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have to be second last.
Yeah, okay, fine. Third last then. All right. More survivor voices. We'd like to see more survivors sitting over there on the panel talking about their road to recovery, the issues that they faced, what happened, and prevention, and everything else.
So there were two things that came to mind when listening to this and the earlier session was that at the foundation what we do is we work with schools. We've worked with how many? 80, 70? 110 schools. And none of these schools wanted to talk to us 6 years ago. It doesn't exist. What CSA in our school you want to talk to? No, why? There's no need. And I told Suchi, I said, if in the other program we go to the most difficult parts of India to select children. Two members of our foundation had to undergo psychiatric counseling in Manipur just now because they were trapped for 3 days and 3 nights in the office with bullets and blasts happening around them. They counted 53 blasts in one night. And so, if we are going to the toughest places in the country to select children, what is the toughest place the toughest nucleus of places of schools to break into to talk about CSA? And I said the schools of South Bombay. I said if you can break South Bombay, you can break the country. And it took a long time because they refused to let her break, and now it's just the floodgates have opened. So yeah, I think more survivor voices. So we also have 60 survivors who we've been counseling for years, and some are being added and some are being subtracted. So we can,
Like
look at
adult
that.
survivors we are talking about, like one of the most powerful messages of prevention, can come through adult survivors. So that's really what when you talked about, which is a powerful body, let's not only think of expert bodies, so to say.
Yeah.
But let's talk about how survivors through their unique journey of recovery are actually best placed, adult survivors, to talk about how children can be protected. So that's what we are really talking about.
Anybody else want to contribute to that?
Yeah, I have, I was abused as a child, but I never consider myself a victim or a survivor or anything, and I think I equally have voice.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Super.
Nobody's saying it's not an either
I
or.
don't know why we have to focus on the survivors for protection and prevention.
You don't have to. You don't have to. They are one very powerful ally. That's what I'm saying. When you're talking about the whole system of the stakeholders, okay, a powerful ally is the survivor. In fact, a powerful ally can be the perpetrator as well, who will be best placed to talk about why sexual abuse. So
Yeah, but the lens that,
That not be the focus, but only a part.
yeah.
but even
So
that
your
voice, even your voice, what you're saying is very valuable. That aspect of it is as valuable as what someone would take literally away from what was just said earlier. Is that your hand up, sir? Yeah.
Just wanted to say that along with all of this, I think it would be fantastic to hear more models that have worked, that are tried and tested models
Across the world or here?
across India. I'm only talking India. There are enough models in this country, best practice models in prevention, best practice models in therapy, best practice models in running a shelter care institution, how to put together a child protection policy. I think we have a lot of resources. So also, because we've been talking about how the systems fail our children, that's how we started this conference. We said the police doesn't work, the healthcare system, and there are tried and tested models where things have worked. There are people who are trying. So it would be nice to also bring in those voices and see how are other organizations activating these systems and thus benefiting children.
Chandni, I love the points you made, but the one thing I will say, an evidence of how we've moved 1 inch forward in this entire battle is that now we have an annual stakeholders conference for child sexual abuse, which I don't think has ever happened before these 2 years. So hey, travel home safely, and Ganpati Bappa Moria. Thanks.